Jay Fallon here. Thanks for listening to The Slippery Slope. So look, last year I brought up, not last year, it was maybe, I brought up a story about smart cities. A lot of people, quite a few people weren't agreeing with me. They couldn't see the point I was trying to make. They thought, well, these smart cities are good, or what are you talking about? The city is miles away. It's not going to work here. But what they're trying to do is make each little section its own little smart city. Smart cities are coming. They are not good. They are going to be used by government to restrict our movement, to restrict your movement. That is what it is all about. And now we're seeing this starting to play out in South Australia. I'm going to bring this article up for you to read if you're watching this on YouTube, which are constantly just they are really pushing back. They are really censoring big time at the moment. But anyway, so if you're watching this on YouTube, just please like and share. So in this article, it's talking about South Australian police are critical of protesters at council meetings diverting officers from fighting crime. Okay, well, what do you know? People don't want facial recognition cameras in the area. People are concerned about Big Brother watching them, about government's overreach. Okay, so with this meeting, so last year, the Adelaide City Council voted unanimously not to include facial recognition technology in new security cameras being installed across the CBD. The council had written to South Australian Police asking if they could delay using facial recognition technology if it was installed in city cameras until safeguard measures were in place. But police indicated that they would likely still use the technology. There you go. So another Attorney General, Kyam Maher, told Parliament in July that CCTV vision collected by one agency could not be used for another purpose unless the agency has reason to suspect that unlawful activity has been, is being, or may be engaged in. That's very important with the wording of any of this kind of legislation that comes through. You've got to look at the way they word everything. So he's saying that, one agency can collect all this information, but it can't be used for another purpose. Makes you feel confident in it until you look at the fine print. So unless that agency has reason to suspect. So it's not even that they have to have a suspicion, they have to have a reason to suspect. That's all they need. And it's just the reason to suspect unlawful activity has been, is being, or may. Just it may. It's very vague. It just may be engaged in. We have a reason. What's that reason? So they talked about hooning. Well, yeah, of course, we have reasons to suspect that there's been hoons in this area because we can see there's been burnouts on the street. Now, they can overlook the fact that those burnouts have been there for well over 12 months and there has been no recent hooning activity. But all they say is we've got a reason. We can see the skid marks on the ground. So that's our reason that it may be engaged in. Therefore, we can access that CCTV. They can justify it. As long as they can write it out and justify it on paper, they can. So don't be deceived when they place everything the way they word things. So Commissioner Stevens on Wednesday said there was no facial recognition in use in council CCTV networks that alert police if a person appears on CCTV on the street, but they can put images through their system to check them against a database of faces. He agreed this was a fundamental difference to being alerted to someone's presence in an area. We have to upload an image and search the database, he said. Local resident Elvin Warren, he's told the Salisbury Council meeting he had widespread concerns about the Smart Cities proposal. So I'll share here the next story about this same article. The headline says Big Brother battle develops in Salisbury. And it's talking about the flyers that were sent out by this group regarding Alec Antic. But what I really want to talk about is this Salisbury Mayor, Gillian Aldrich. Okay, so this group has sent out they've called for residents to come and attend this kind of protest. So Salisbury Mayor Gillian Aldrich, she believed tens of thousands of pamphlets objecting to the council's Smart Cities initiative had been distributed, some of which with the stamp of the No Smart Cities Action Group. Their whole idea, here's what she says. This is the mayor. Their whole idea of a Big Brother thing is really quite ridiculous. Okay? Really quite ridiculous that you would have Big Brother watching over you, that council would be watching you, government would be watching you. That's what she says. That's what she tells the ABC radio. And then she goes on further on down here and says, Miss Aldrich rejected suggestions that the Smart Cities program involved listening devices and facial recognition technology. They do in a way have it, and they can implement it later on, but right now maybe they don't. And so she goes on to say the community was on board with more CCTV. She says here, now she has just said the whole idea of Big Brother is quite ridiculous. That's what she just said. Now she says smart cities is all about using technology to improve the quality of the life of residents. This includes things like pedestrian monitoring. An older person walks across a street and the lights change too quickly. We'd recognize that, and the lights could be changed so that people could comfortably go across the road. So how can you argue with that? We all want older people, to cross the road safely. But still, this idea that Big Brother is watching you, that's ridiculous, she says. It's a program to increase your safety, because where have we heard in history that it's for your safety and it's for your benefit that we're implementing things? Has there been another time in maybe the previous century where we've heard groups say that kind of thing? It's for your benefit, for your safety. That's why we're implementing all those rules, for your safety. When people start saying it's for your safety that I'm going to bring in these rules, these laws, it's for your safety and your benefit, you better be looking around for someone else to come along and smack you in the back of the head with a log. It says, it's a program to increase your safety, and that includes the ability for us to know what your needs are. So they want the ability to know what your needs are. The same person that just said that the idea of Big Brother watching you is ridiculous. That's ridiculous. What'd she say? The whole idea of a Big Brother thing is really quite ridiculous. Down here, it's a program to increase your safety, and that includes the ability for us to know. She's a part of the Big Brother. That's why she doesn't see a problem with it. It's a part of their ability to know what your needs are. And that's not invading your privacy with anything at all. Nothing at all, she says. It's not invading your privacy because she knows about it. She's a part of the system. Last week, the city of Onkaparinga council meeting descended into chaos when protesters allegedly tried to enter the chamber. Ms. Aldridge said she was alarmed at the prospect of similar scenes in Adelaide's north. I'm concerned for the safety of my council and the staff, she said. So there you go. They say that they don't want, or they're not going to implement facial recognition just yet. They're going to delay it. They say that, well, we will have this technology, but it can't be shared with anyone else. Well, actually, it can be shared with other agencies, but they need a reason. Well, yeah, they need a reason, and they don't really need much of a reason. Not much of a reason at all. They just need to be able to justify an excuse. They just need the thought of a reason is what they need. And, you know, the idea of Big Brother watching you is absolutely ridiculous, except Big Brother is going to watch you, but it's for your benefit. And it really doesn't matter because we're Big Brother and we can be trusted. So it's all good. The police commissioner, because police have never misused technology. So what does it matter? Now, this is all coming from South Australia. And I just want to remind you of what South Australia implemented last year or the year before, during the pandemic that we had to have, the plandemic that we had to have, just so you know. Here we go, South Australia, facial recognition trial, COVID app blasted by Fox and Breitbart, criticised over lack of safeguards. Civil liberty groups say an app being trialled in South Australia that uses facial recognition and geolocation to enforce home quarantine during the COVID-19 pandemic should not be used until the proper safeguards are in place. So South Australia is currently using a government-developed app. Remember the mayor saying this idea of Big Brother watching you is ridiculous? South Australia using a government-developed app to enforce home quarantine compliance for a small cohort of returning interstate travellers who opt into the trial. Users are sent a message at random times and must respond within 15 minutes, verifying their location and identifying an identity using facial recognition and geolocation. If they fail to do so, South Australian Health notifies police, who then attend the person's home for a physical check. But yeah, we don't have to worry about it if they have these smart cities. We don't need to worry about facial recognition cameras. The idea of Big Brother watching you is just a joke. It's nothing to be worried about. It's all for your safety. Nothing to be concerned of. Nothing to be concerned about. When people start saying, when governments, agencies, police start saying this is for your safety, for your protection, we are bringing in these laws for your safety and your protection, and you can trust us. We're taking away your liberty. We're taking away your freedom. But it's because we can be trusted and it's for your benefit. You need to watch what's coming down the road. As I've said before, and I know a lot of people don't like me talking about Bible stuff, but the Bible predicted a long time ago. Revelation 13, also in Daniel, but in Revelation 13, it describes in graphic detail. It says that we will have a one world government. It says that we will have a one world, basically a currency, and that no one will be able to buy or sell unless you have the mark of the beast. The only way you can have this kind of system in place that you can determine who in the whole world can buy or sell unless you have some kind of mark on you is if you have this kind of system in place, this kind of smart system in place where you are monitoring everyone 24 hours a day. That is why I am so against the smart cities that they are trying to force upon us. Don't be deceived into thinking that this is all just for your benefit. Just sit back and watch. Just sit back and allow us to take control of your life. Just have an electric car and we can dictate when you can charge it and when you can drive. It's all good. Nothing to see here. We're Big Brother. But don't be concerned. Don't be concerned. My opinion, this is something to be concerned about. With everything else that is happening in Australia at the moment, this what's happening in South Australia with these smart cities, this is the big story. That's my opinion. Thank you for listening to The Slippery Slope.